Welcome back to Portugal Property Insider, the show where we help you navigate the real estate maze with your eyes wide open, not closed. I'm your host, Keely Capel, a licensed broker and founder of Private Luxury Collection. Today, we're going to tackle a common belief I hear far too often, a myth that could genuinely cost you your dream property. Just go in low. Every property is negotiable, right? Well, not quite. At least not here in the Algarve. Not in today's market, and certainly not if you're serious about actually buying a property you love. This isn't a market for aggressive lowballing, it's a market for smart, strategic negotiation. Let's really dig into what negotiation looks like in Portugal, especially in those competitive high demand areas like Vila Moura, Quinta do Lago, and the prime coastal spots of the central Algarve. We'll explore what's realistic, what's not, and how to approach offers in a way that truly works for you. Let's get something crystal clear right from the start. This is not a distressed market. Portugal, and particularly the Algarve, is seeing strong, ongoing demand from international buyers. We're talking about people who want to live here for the lifestyle, those seeking a second home for holidays, retirees moving for their golden years, and more digital nomads looking for a beautiful base. And what about the availability of properties? Well, that's where things get tight. The inventory, especially for desirable properties in prime locations, is limited. This imbalance between consistent high demand and restricted supply means one very important thing. In many sought-after areas, sellers know exactly what their property is worth. They are generally in no rush to accept significantly low offers. If you're aiming for a well-located property that's truly desirable, maybe a modern villa with sea views, a place you can walk to the golf course from, or a move-in ready apartment with a proven track record of rentals, you should expect to pay very close to the asking price. In many cases, getting more than 5% off, if any discount at all, is rare. We frequently see sales close at the full asking price, and occasionally I've been in situations where multiple buyers are making offers on the same property. Deals even go above the asking price. This isn't about sellers being greedy, it's a reflection of a genuine market demand. So, does this mean negotiation is dead? Absolutely not. But it does mean your approach needs to be strategic and well informed, not just aggressive. A very low offer doesn't build good relationships, and in Portugal, trust and relationships really matter. If you damage that connection too early, the seller might just stop talking to you altogether. So let's get into the subtle details. Not all properties or sellers are the same. There's usually more room to talk if a property has been on the market for a while, if it seemed priced higher than similar homes, or if it has some quirks, perhaps an outdated interior, difficult access, or some paperwork that needs updating. For resale properties, it's common to negotiate somewhere between 3 to maybe 7% off the asking price. But this only applies if your offer is backed by solid market evidence, not just wishful thinking. A good agent won't just guess. They should give you comparable sales data, a market analysis, and perhaps even some insight into what the seller might be willing to accept. This is exactly where a knowledgeable local broker truly earns their value. They understand the nuances of what drives a seller's flexibility. Beyond just the price, you can often negotiate on other terms of the deal. These can be just as valuable, if not more so, than a smaller price reduction. So think about inclusions. Can you get furniture, appliances, or existing property management contracts included? This could save you thousands down the line. Deposit amount and structure. While 10% is the standard for resale, sometimes a slightly lower initial deposit could be negotiated, especially if the closing date is further out, or perhaps stage payments for a new build. The timeline of the closing. Being flexible on the date you complete the purchase can be very appealing to a seller who needs more time to move out or find their next home. And conditions like repairs or paperwork updates. If your inspection uncovers minor issues or if some property documents need to be regularised, your offer can include a condition that the seller addresses these before the closing. When it comes to new builds, the pricing is usually much more fixed because they're often sold off plan based on the developer's set structure. However, even here, there might be ways to negotiate. You might be able to work in upgraded finishes for your kitchen or bathrooms, or perhaps slightly better payment terms, especially if you're buying early in the construction process when the developer is eager to secure initial sales. But again, all of this depends on how you ask, and crucially, who's asking for you. It's a delicate dance, not a brute force attack. In some countries, negotiation is almost like a fierce sport, a battle of wills. In Portugal, it's much more like a gentle dance. Come in too strong or try to dominate the conversation, and you'll likely find your partner stepping away from the floor. Here, sellers genuinely expect buyers to make offers that are reasonably close to their asking price, not offers that are 30 or even 40% under asking. This kind of lowball tactic often gets ignored completely and even seen as disrespectful. Why? Because sellers don't want to feel insulted. They're looking for a serious buyer, someone who truly values their property, not a bargain hunter just throwing out random numbers. And let's be realistic. If a property is priced fairly for its market, is in a popular area, and doesn't have any major red flags, it's highly likely to sell. If not to you, then to the next serious buyer, especially when you consider that buyers from the UK, the US, Germany, France, and many other countries are all competing for the same limited inventory of desirable properties. Understanding this cultural nuance is paramount. It's about building trust and showing respect, even in a business transaction. This is where having a trusted, experienced real estate broker by your side truly makes all the difference. As we discussed in episode 1, in Portugal, most real estate agents work for the seller. The concept of dual agency, where one agent might technically represent both buyer and seller, is common. This means that an agent you think is negotiating just for you might actually have their primary loyalty to the seller. Even worse, many so-called buyers' representatives simply charge you a fee just to open doors and show you properties. They might not truly understand your deep goals, nor do they often have the granular insider knowledge of the local market needed for effective negotiation. At Private Luxury Collection, we take a different, more strategic approach. Yes, we work with sellers, but we're also deeply committed to building long-term relationships with our buyers. This means giving you honest, transparent advice, proactively pointing out any potential red flags, and negotiating for you based on solid market data and deep local insights, not just drama or wishful thinking. And here's the truth that many don't realise. The absolute best deals, the ones that truly represent exceptional value or unique opportunities, are often made quietly. They happen off market or even before a property is officially listed. In these situations, trust, established relationships, and a high level of professionalism between agents, lawyers, and clients make a far bigger impact than simply trying to beat down a number. A truly connected broker can open doors to these opportunities. So, what's the bottom line here? Yes, there's usually some flexibility in pricing, some wiggle room, but you shouldn't count on getting 10% or more off the asking price unless there's a clear issue with the property or it was obviously overpriced to begin with. Instead, focus your efforts on these key strategies. Truly understand the market value of the property you're intending to purchase. Do your research and rely on your broker for accurate information and comparables. Work with an agent who genuinely knows the negotiation game in Portugal, who has strong local connections and who will advocate solely for your best interests. Be respectful and thoughtful in your offer. A well-reasoned, fair offer represented politely goes a long way. And leverage terms and timing, not just the price. Think creatively about what else might be valuable to the seller, like a flexible closing date or including certain items. In a competitive market like the Algarve, a smart negotiation isn't about trying to shave off every possible cent. It's about expertly securing the right property at a fair price with the least amount of stress and friction. If that property truly ticks all your boxes, meets your goals, and is priced fairly, sometimes the best strategy is to simply pay the price and move quickly, because the really good ones, they genuinely don't stay on the market for long. Thanks for listening to Portugal Property Insider. If this episode helped clear up some misconceptions about buying property here, please share it with someone you know who's planning to buy. You might help them avoid some costly mistakes. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you're finding these episodes helpful. And if you're looking for expert, tailored advice for your buying journey in Portugal, head to privateluxurycollection.com and book a one-on-one consultation. Until next time, stay curious, stay confident, and stay out of the low ball trap.